Hi, everyone, and welcome to yet another set of words for you. As you already know, you can use these words in your day-to-day conversations as well as for multiple exams that you might be appearing for. It could be GMATs, SATs, and whatnot. So let's dive in and see what words do we have today. So our first word today is omniscient. Now, omniscient means having or seeming to have unlimited knowledge. Someone who is knowing everything there is to know. Or it seems like they have all the knowledge about the entire world. And who is that person? I guess that's God, right? So God is omniscient, right? So one example is God is omniscient. Then we can also say in other sense, they give the impression that the magazine is omniscient. That means it seems like the magazine has unlimited knowledge about any subject that the magazine might be about. So you can say a magazine is omniscient. That means the magazine has unlimited knowledge. Even the garden's omniscient botanist couldn't explain the meaning of the flower's name. Now, a person could be said as omniscient if they have unlimited knowledge on a certain topic. So, a botanist. Who is a botanist? Someone who has the knowledge of plants, flowers, and all things related to plant life. So, a garden's omniscient botanist who has unlimited knowledge about that subject. Even he couldn't give the meaning of the flower's name, right? So, omniscient botanist, a botanist who has unlimited knowledge of the subject. So, it's not that if you're omniscient, you should have knowledge of every aspect of life. You can be an omniscient in a certain subject or a topic, right? For example, omniscient botanist. So, he has unlimited knowledge of botanical terms, right? So, omniscient, having or seeming to have unlimited knowledge. All right. Let's see. Our next word is opulent. Can you see this beautiful structure, this architecture, and the paintings in the room? So, this is an opulent structure, right? Opulent means having or displaying wealth or richness, something that shows that it's really rich, rich in terms of money or in terms of quality, and it displays that you have wealth. So opulent buildings that show they are made using a lot of money, right? Opulent rooms, opulent lifestyle, a lifestyle that includes using or spending a lot of wealth, right? So having or displaying wealth or richness means opulent. So definitely it is an adjective, right? He lived an opulent lifestyle that included sports cars. Now you have sports cars, that means you definitely have wealth. This displays that you have wealth. And someone who's displaying a wealthy lifestyle is having an opulent lifestyle, right? So he lived an opulent lifestyle that included sports cars because they're definitely expensive. He built an opulent palace for himself nearby. So he built a luxurious palace. You can say, definitely, palace would be an opulent thing, right? It's not going to be made out of, simple sticks, stones, and cement. It definitely needs a lot of money. So palaces would be opulent structures. Most of the cash went on supporting his opulent lifestyle. So, most of the cash was spent in supporting his lifestyle that required a lot of money. That means an opulent lifestyle or a wealthy lifestyle. So, opulent, having or displaying wealth or richness. Our next word, outmoded. Outmoded means no longer modern, useful, or necessary. How we say something is out-fashioned, right? Outmoded means no longer in fashion, no longer is modern, useful, or necessary, right? We did the word modish before, which means fashionable or in trend. Outmoded, not fashionable anymore or not in trend anymore, right? That means it's no longer modern, useful, or necessary, right? Outmoded working practices are being phased out. That means working practices which are no longer in use are completely disappearing. The city is replacing its outmoded sewage treatment plant. A sewage treatment plant, which is not proving to be useful, is being replaced. So, not proving to be useful, such a thing can be called as outmoded, right? So, city is replacing it because it's outmoded, it's not useful anymore. Unfortunately, prevailing theory is vague, outmoded, and diffuse. The theory about something, let's say they are talking about something related to space and there is a theory related to it, but now that theory is no longer in use or is no longer necessary. No one believes in it. So we can say it's an outmoded theory, right? So outmoded, no longer modern, useful, or necessary, just like these landlines, right? We don't have these landlines anymore or the button pressing telephones anymore. Like we don't use them. They exist, but they are not in use or they are not necessary anymore, right? We have mobile phones, right? So this is outmoded. Panacea. Now, panacea means something that will solve all problems, right? It's also the name of a Greek goddess, right? So we say that I have a panacea for something. That means I have the solution for all problems. So it's a mystical term that was used in Greek mythology and other mythological books, right? So we can use it in our day to day life as well. Technology is not a panacea for all our problems, right? It's not that technology has the solution for all our problems. Sometimes technology is itself a problem, right? So, panacea is something that can solve all your problems, and technology is not one. Books are not meant to be a panacea for an illness or loss. It's not that books can solve illnesses or can make you feel better if you're suffering a loss. So, books are not a panacea for everything. However, none of these improvements is a panacea. That means none of these improvements will solve any problems, right? So, panacea is something that is seeming to solve all your problems or has solution for all your problems, right? This was also the name of a Greek goddess. Seems to be right here, right? So that's Panacea. Panache. So panache means a confidently stylish, dashing, or a flamboyant manner. So someone who is confidently stylish, they're very, stylish, they're dashing, or they have this flamboyant manner about them, something bold. They are very, you know, into colorful or confident or bold clothing. So you can say that they are panache, right? The orchestra played with great panache. That means the orchestra played with a confident style. He was full of panache today as he was 40 years ago. So he's still as confident, right, as he was 40 years ago. He did so with his usual charm and panache. That means he did whatever he was doing with his usual charm and confidence, or the same dashing behavior that he would follow, right? So that is panache. A confidently stylish, dashing, or flamboyant manner. That is panache. You can see these ladies right here, so confidently stylish, and they all look dashing, right? So they are panache, right? They have a great panache. Okay. Partisan. Now, partisan means devoted to or favoring a particular cause or political party. So, if you're devoted to a cause, you are favoring a cause, you're taking side of one political party, you are partisan, right? The audience was very partisan and refused to listen to her speech. That means they were very devoted to someone else's cause, they were devoted to some other person, and they were not ready to listen to this second person's speech. You can also remember it like you are totally biased towards something, right? So that is partisan, right? Most newspapers are politically partisan. That means they are politically biased, they are devoted to one party or another, but they are totally favoring one cause. They were abetted by a partisan police force. That means they were really abetted by a police force that was totally inclined towards one political cause, right? They were not on a neutral background. So that is partisan, devoted to or favoring a particular cause or political party. Passable. Passable is something that's just good enough to be acceptable. You can also say something that's satisfactory. It's not great, it's not over the top amazing, it's just good enough to accept. For example, someone's performance can be passable, right? How you say in school, your teacher would say, "You've not performed really well, but I'll pass you." So that's a passable performance. So you can say satisfactory as well for passable. Eventually, however, one road became just passable with the right kind of vehicle. So, one road was allowed to let vehicles go. Earlier, it was not worth taking your vehicles on that road, but now that road has minimum conditions for a vehicle to travel. So, the road is just passable. It's not amazing, but it's a passable road, right? You can take your vehicle now because it's not as bad as it used to be. Angie can speak passable Russian. That means Angie's Russian is okay-ish. It's good enough to accept, but it's not amazing. She's not very fluent. The food was excellent and the wine was passable. Wine was not excellent. Food was, but wine was passable, just okay-ish, right? So passable is something that's just good enough to be acceptable, or you can also say it's satisfactory, not amazing. Pastoral. Now, pastoral means of or relating to the country or country life. In other words, anything that's related to rural areas or is rural. The priest makes pastoral visits every Tuesday. That means he's going to the rural areas or rural parts every Tuesday, or any area that is relating to the country, right? Country is the area which is on the outskirts of a metropolitan or a well running populated city. I should have transferred to pastoral a while back. That means I should have gone to the country to live a country life, or to, I should say, rural areas. Thousands of people flee the big cities in search of the rural idyll. That means they want to run away from the big cities and go and settle down in the quiet, fresh aired rural idyll, right? As something that is a country life, right? So, pastoral, something that relates to the country or country life. Other words, we can say rural. Rural is not always talking about being poor. Rural also means something that's not urban, not urban, something that's not relating to technology, modern, and there is no gadgets, cars, vehicles, right? The those skyscrapers. It's just a simple countryside, right? So that's pastoral. Just like this man taking his flock of sheep, he is in a pastoral area, right? Okay. Peculiarity. Now, peculiarity is the quality of being strange or unusual or an unusual habit. Now, peculiarities can include any quality of being strange, unusual, or any habit that is unusual, that is not found commonly in people, right? Well, all have a little peculiarities, don't we? I mean, we all have something unusual in us. Not everyone's perfect. So we all have unusual habits or strange habits. I noticed a certain peculiarity about his appearance. That means noticed that there was something unusual about his appearance, just like this guy here. There were a lot of things unusual about his appearance. His hair seemed like so straight. I don't know, his chin is so sunken deep. His nose is so small. His eyes are so big, and he looks so funny. So that's a peculiar appearance, right? Each country has its own peculiarity, but there is always something unusual about every country that is, right? So they have its own peculiarity. The quality of being strange or unusual is peculiarity, or any unusual habit can also be a peculiarity. Pejorative. Now, pejorative means expressing contempt or disapproval. If you are not agreeing to something or you are disapproving strongly, you are pejorative, right? Make sure students realize that fat is a pejorative word. That means fat is something we disapprove of, right? So I don't know why they're talking about that, but that's not a fair thing, right? We don't really have to tell people that fat is a pejorative word. Like, it's okay. I accept the word. For hardline Republicans, liberal had become a pejorative term. That means it was a term that people were disapproving of. They are concerned to avoid hackneyed or pejorative phrases. That means they are concerned that they definitely avoid any phrase that is disapproved or expresses contempt. You can see how everyone is expressing their contempt or disapproval towards this girl, right? So that's pejorative comments there. Right? All right. Time to revise. Pejorative, as we just discussed, anything that expresses contempt or disapproval. If you are not agreeing to something or you are not happy with the fact that something is happening, you're disapproving of it, that means you are pejorative. There can be pejorative terms, that means these terms are expressing disapproval, right? You're not going to use them, right? So that is pejorative. Peculiarity, the quality of being strange or unusual, or any unusual habit is a peculiarity. You can literally have weird, breakfast habits, and that could be a peculiarity. Maybe you have, I don't know, Maggie with jam. That's a peculiarity, right? So anything that's strange. Pastoral, related to the country or the country life. Basically saying rural. So anything that's not related to the urban tech, to the urban building structures would be pastoral. The green, lush country area would be pastoral, right? Passable, anything that's just good enough to be acceptable, or in other terms, it's just satisfactory. It's not over the top good, it's not amazing, excellent, or above the bar. It's just the bare minimum. So, passable, something that's just good enough to accept. For example, your grades could be passable, right? Let's say you got 45 and the passing marks were 44, or like, so your marks are just passable, right? They are the bare minimum. Someone can speak passable Russian. That means their Russian is not good, but it's just enough, right? Partisan. Partisan is being devoted to or favoring a particular cause or political party. If you're favoring just one political party, you're totally devoted to it. Sometimes you go crazy after it and you favor their cause. That means you are a partisan. Panache. Panache means a confidently stylish, dashing, or flamboyant manner. If the way you wear your clothes is, you're very confident wearing whatever you wear, or someone who is having a confidence in their walk, whatever they wear, or how they carry them is very flamboyant, very bold and attractive. So you would characterize them as panache, right? Panacea. Panacea is anything that you assume will solve all your problems, right? I believe my mom is my panacea. She solves all my problems, right? So technology is not a panacea for all our problems because we think technology would solve everything, but it really can't, right? Also, it's the name of a Greek goddess. Outmoded. Modish meant something that's in trend or fashionable. Outmoded, it's not at all in fashion or in trend. It's no longer modern or useful or necessary. For example, telephones. We don't use the landlines anymore, right? Because we have cell phones. So, outmoded, something that's no longer modern, useful, or necessary, right? Opulent. Any structure, any building, any person can lead an opulent lifestyle. If something reflects wealth, richness, or use of a lot of money, we say it's opulent. Someone's lifestyle can be opulent, a palace or a building can be opulent, right? So, opulent is anything requiring or using a lot of wealth or displaying richness, just like this room here, so opulent. Omniscient, someone or something that is seeming to have unlimited knowledge or actually has unlimited knowledge. God is omniscient because we believe he has unlimited knowledge. Books can be omniscient because we think that they have, all the knowledge. A person can be omniscient, but we can say in a certain area as well. It's not necessary that you are omniscient only when you know about every realm on earth. You could be omniscient when you know about a certain sector or area or niche. For example, an omniscient botanist, a botanist who knows all there is to know about plants or anything related to botany, right? So that is omniscient. All right. So that's all for today. Thank you.